Hey guys, Kevin Zoe here. Really happy to be joined by my colleague, Dr. Suppiah, who's a neurosurgeon at Toronto Western Hospital, affiliated with the University of Toronto. And we're going to be highlighting him and the awesome work that he's doing as our new member feature for this month's issue of Synapse. So I'm going to take the camera now. And hey, Sugan, thanks so much for chatting with us today. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about your training background and where you've lived in terms of doing your training.
Thank you, Kevin, for this opportunity to kind of discuss what we're building here at the University of Toronto. So just a little bit of background. I did my neurosurgery residency program at the University of Toronto here, and then I did my fellowship with Dr. Rajiv Midha at the University of Calgary in 2022. And so that's been my journey. Also did my PhD here in molecular biology of peripheral nerve sheath tumors during my residency as well.
And at what point in residency did you realize that you were quite interested in peripheral nerve? I feel like it's not that common these days for neurosurgery residents to get essentially a lot of exposure or to have those opportunities to do the kind of fellowship that you did. So when did you realize that that was something you were passionate about?
That's a great question. At the University of Toronto, peripheral nerve surgery has become a little bit lost in the neurosurgery program. Although we had some of the leaders in the field with Dr. Rajiv Midha working here previously, Dr. Ab Guha and Dr. Alan Hudson. But during my residency program, there was no experience in peripheral nerve surgery during my training. So I really got interested in peripheral nerve surgery through a circuitous path. During my PhD, I started looking at peripheral nerve tumor biology as a side project, which then got me really interested in the neurofibromatosis population, which I found to be a very underserviced population here in Canada who had innumerable peripheral nerve tumors. So during my work in my PhD, I started reading up more on peripheral nerve surgery, watching more of the videos, and kind of got interested in the field. And then because of my PhD, I started reaching out to peripheral nerve surgeons across Canada to get some experience. So I did a 3-month rotation at McGill University with Dr. Marie-Noëlle Hubert-Blouen, and I really realized that this is something that I'd be really interested in to pursue for my future. And then I got in touch with Dr. Rajiv Midha as well and got to observe him, and so that's how I really got interested in peripheral nerve surgery. Unfortunately, at Toronto at the time, we just didn't have the experience or exposure to the field, but I had to kind of go out of the box to be able to get some experience and try to see if this was right for me.
Yeah, that's wow, that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. It's actually really cool to think about the history of peripheral nerve in Toronto. You mentioned Dr. Alan Hudson, and that's who Dr. Susan McKinnon worked with when she was here in Toronto as well, and they were exploring the application of nerve allografts for complex gap reconstruction. So super cool. And what did you see during fellowship that you thought was innovative or different, or things that you wanted to bring back as a staff now that you're here?
Yeah, so to be fair, everything was innovative because, again, I probably saw about 5 to 10 peripheral nerve cases during my entire residency program. So everything was new to me during my fellowship. But having the honor of working with Dr. Rajiv Midha at the University of Calgary, who had a very dedicated peripheral nerve surgery program. So I got to see a wide exposure of peripheral nerve pathologies, including peripheral nerve tumors, peripheral nerve injuries, and nerve transfers for peripheral nerve injuries. So everything was new to me, but I had a great time learning these new surgical approaches. And the other thing I found that was great was looking at the multidisciplinary approach to peripheral nerve surgery at the University of Calgary. So a multidisciplinary team of plastic reconstructive surgeon and neurosurgery together. So a lot of cases were done as combined cases, and I thought that was a very innovative approach to bring multiple fields together and synergize some of the experiences from the different fields and build a multidisciplinary program.
That's awesome. And what's your practice like these days as a staff?
So my practice right now is, I would say, about 50% spine surgery, predominantly spinal intradural tumors in the NF population. And then I also do about 50% peripheral nerve, again, predominantly peripheral nerve tumors in the NF population, but also do peripheral nerve compression pathologies and peripheral nerve transfers as well. And having the opportunity to operate with you and now that we're doing about one OR day a month with combined cases, I think it's a great opportunity to again build strong connections between plastics and neurosurgery, and also to build more multidisciplinary programs where we can provide holistic management for peripheral nerve pathologies. So looking forward to continue to build this over time.
Yep, likewise. And what about on the research side? How's the lab work coming?
Yeah, so from a research side, my lab is predominantly focused on looking at peripheral nerve tumor biology, specifically looking at how tumors develop and also how tumors undergo malignant transformation into an MPNST, especially in the NF1 population. So we're looking at biological markers and also radiographical markers as well. So a study that we're doing with you as well is looking at TTI imaging for assessment of peripheral nerve tumors in the NF population, and to see how it helps guide management and also for prognostication in post-surgical deficits.
Yeah, I think that's really exciting work that we're doing. So hopefully we can share it with the ASPN community as we build on what we've done. And last question for you, Dr. Suppiah, where do you think the field of peripheral nerve surgery is headed? What kind of innovation are you hoping to see in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. I think there's a lot to still be accomplished in peripheral nerve surgery, both with regards to implantable robotics for peripheral nerve injuries to help regain function, but also from a peripheral nerve tumor perspective to understand the biology of these tumors and to potentially have molecular markers that might help guide management options. So determining which patients would benefit from surgery versus who would benefit from targeted therapy, and how to prevent malignant transformation in the NF population. I think there's a lot to be accomplished, both from a clinical and basic science perspective in the peripheral nerve field. So I think, as we continue our collaboration, we hope to build on these in the next 5 to 10 years.
That's great. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Suppiah, and look forward to our next combined OR.
Thank you again.